Kids and cadets, welcome back to Tommy Time. Messing with this Murray Select. I wanted to show it to you. Got it over the weekend. I went to my scrappers location that normally delivers. I got the Murray Select and the Craftsman here. I saw this in his yard. I had known about this Murray Select. I had been to his location before. I saw it sitting there. He had another one he junked a while ago, and this one was complete. So I finally cleared off my trailer and I scooped it up today, and we're going to discuss it. It's kind of given me issues, so I need you guys that are experts to help me out. Let me see what year it is. 2005. 6 month of 05 on the Murray Select. So he said he thought it needed an ignition switch. He said he had it running, so he wheeled it out to the street before I got there, and no battery. I had to put my own battery in it, and no cap to the fuel tank. He gave me a cap to a push mower. This doesn't go to this, and he also gave me this cap, which may work, but it has the needle for empty full, but I think the thread pattern's the same. But this dude dad's in the way. I don't want to destroy a good cap, so maybe I'll find one on Fleabay. I have another one of these here in the backyard. Same thing, Murray Select. The engine may be slightly more. I think it's a 40-inch cut. These went out the door from the factory like Volkswagen Beetles. They sold a crap load of these things. There's your engine number, the 050629 Zebra Alpha 10473. So I've been over here doing a little troubleshooting. I went to that other machine and grabbed another ignition switch, kind of blew some air into it to clean out all the crud that was on it. Made no difference. I see somebody's already changed the solenoid. Maybe the solenoid's bad. I checked the fuse. Fuse is good. So I've been poking around. What this wire is I got it hooked up directly to the battery. I brought it over to the starter and engaged the starter, and the machine started by bypassing all the electrics. But it was running really rough. If I brought it down to slow, it killed it. But if I brought it up to, say, high speed, it was running, but barely. So I thought maybe, well, it was starving for air. I come over and kind of move the air filter out. Nothing, and the filter isn't that bad. So I was kind of nosing around with it running. I opened up the dipstick like that, and then all of a sudden it smoothed itself out. So what do you guys think that is? Getting air into the crankcase smoothed it out. Putting the dipstick back down snuffed it out. Other thing I noticed, I thought maybe it was overfilled. I'm pretty sure this has got a Nicky carburetor. It just seemed like it was overfilled with oil. So we may have a, yeah, it's up here. Here's the hole, and it's up here, and it looks kind of thin. I'm wondering if it smells like gas too. So I think that could be our issue. These are notorious for the O-ring going bad, and then it fills the crankcase. It just keeps pouring gas into the carb, and it'll fill the crankcase. So will an overfilled crankcase give you this suffocation thing, adding air to the crankcase, smooth it out? Anyway, I gotta tackle the ignition issue first. Go to that, mess with the Nicky carb. We got one tire off the rim. This one's holding air and that one's flat, so we're 2 for 2. Deck doesn't look bad. That's why I took on this thing. I thought just by appearance, but all these things are popping up now, causing me issues. Other thing is when I picked it up, we rolled it onto the trailer. I noticed oil here, but it's been running and now there's no oil, so maybe it poured out of somewhere. So I paid $50, if I haven't told you that. So I got to get a battery for it. This thing here, I saw it in his yard. I says, "What are you going to do with this?" He says, "Well, I had found a perfect deck at the junkyard. I was going to go back the scrap yard. They were going to hold it for me, but they ended up throwing it in the metal pile." So I says, "Well, you're going to keep the machine?" He says, "No." So I said, "I'll give you 10 for it." So he gave it to me for 10. He had pulled it over to show me that it would turn over, and the rope broke. So I didn't even goose it or anything. The rope broke, and then when I decided, well, it's $10. Deck shot. I can't do anything there. I'm going to have to fix the recoil. Bone dry there. I see some snot down there. I don't see any filtration through the hole. It's because it's so dirty. It's blending in with the plastic. Holy cow. So if I can get this thing to operate, I'll use the engine on another machine. $20.19, so they got a lot of use out of this thing. Holy cow. 5 years and the thing's got that much rust. Holy cow. They beat the living snot out of this thing. Oh good, trap doors here. I was looking for one for the other project, although they got it chicken wired. I don't know what that's all about, but I can use that trap door on something. So $60, I gave him 3 $20 bills. I'm kind of still up in the air on this thing. Maybe it wasn't a good deal. It is a Nicky right there. So I hate these Nickies with that ziggy zag gasket that goes on that white plastic base, but they're cheap. $20. I could get another carb and replace it for 20. I do have a couple of rebuild kits, so most likely this thing is flooding itself out. My two-stroke vintage motorcycle buddy Matt from Manatee County said he had an issue with his Husqvarna, and he just put an inline shut off. I know a lot of people do that. Shut it off after use and it won't flood the crankcase. Anyway, so let me know what you guys think, especially the issue of letting more air in. That's what all this happened is I lifted it up too much. All the oil started blasting out, so I kind of kept it like that, keeping the oil in, but enough air went in to let it run smooth. You guys know what that could be. This is my last looky look today. Maybe tomorrow I'll start trying to figure out what the deal is. I kind of was poking around looking at what was hot and what was not with my test light. Seemed to have good ground. Maybe it's the solenoid. Maybe it was bad from the factory. It looks like a multi-position 3-post solenoid. You could mount it sideways on the side wall or flat. I was hoping it was the burnt 15 amp fuse, but not my luck. I had that happen to me on a John Deere. Had blown the fuse and wouldn't start. I put a 3-cent fuse in it and the machine lived happily ever after. The side chute's still here. Usually that gets lost. Oh, and the discharge plate here is still there. Wow, this thing's kind of complete. Some surface rust, but I don't see any rust through, so I don't think this thing has seen much action. Too bad these issues have cropped up. If it was something simple, I'd be happier. Because physically, it's not a bad looking machine. It's these mechanical issues and a couple of flats. Oh, another thing I noticed, the deck. I got to mess with the deck because it's on the highest position and it's barely off the ground, so I got to make some adjustments, put it on the flat driveway and set this thing up properly because it's on the highest deck position 5 and it's barely off the ground. The flat could have something to do with it too, the flat on the left side. Anywho, that's all I got. Maybe I'm going to go in and look for the Nicky carb and just go to Big Jungle or Flea Bay and get one and be over with it. Use that one there for parts. Okay, sun's going down. I think I timed it right. It's still bright enough to see. You guys have a good day. Appreciate you coming out. Please tip your waitress and wait staff. You engine experts. I want to know why it runs better. Probably I should do my own deductive reasoning. Drain some engine oil off of this thing. Get it to in between the 2 holes and then see if it improves. We're going to need an oil change anyway. It's been thinned out by gasoline. Anyway, thanks you guys. tip your waitress and wait staff, and they'll be happy. Everybody will be happy. Adios, amigos. Thanks again for coming out. You guys have been following this junk on four wheels. I appreciate you subscribing, like the comments you guys give me on this junk. I'm just a shade tree mechanic working under an oak tree. You guys are all the experts. See you.